Hello and welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. Y'all, this is it. It is the final episode of the Don't Make the Dragon series. First up, I am going to show you some footage wrapping up the last bits of this dragon, and then I am going to answer some questions that y'all have had. So come on, let's do this. Alright y'all, here is door take 2. Ignore the messy garage because, yeah, it needs a clean. I did this off camera yesterday because I needed to just bust it out. I was in a place where I was so frustrated with things that I ran to Home Depot and just went to work. I purchased some red oak because I knew at this point it needed to be oak. It had to be a hardwood. And I milled down the oak to a 1/2 inch, mainly because I was going to be popping this sucker in. It looks pretty good. I tested it without its cover and it seems to be much better. It's more than workable, and I'm confident because this is an oak and that it was milled straight. We should be good to go. So I went as far as I could yesterday because I had to stop at the point where I put in the bolts for the frame, sunk them in and waited for that to dry. But you know, I had to recut everything. All the wood had to be recut, the circles had to be retemplated, all that stuff. It is a little bit narrower. I'm actually happy about that. It's a 1/4 inch less than what the other door was, which will make it a little bit more snug when it goes on the inside. It took me forever to sort out the doorknob. I honestly have been thinking about this doorknob for over a year, maybe longer, 1.5 years. I wanted you to like turn a knob that looked like it was going into Narnia. I wanted you to have that feeling of I'm stepping into this world. I found some glass antique style knobs and I was shaving one down on my glass grinder and I went to hit it with a torch to soften the glass and it shattered, which was not a bad thing because my whole reasoning behind even dealing with these handles was that I didn't have the cup that would sit on the spindle. And you couldn't order just the cup separately. You had to order a whole handle. This is the old school style skeleton key plate. And these are the cups. They did take some damage as I was trying to break off the glass. But I will be able to now build my own handle, which is great. So I have been messing with some designs on the Glowforge. This is one of them. And it's just the dragon head that I've been using, Evangeline's head. And then it got me thinking about the frame on the other side of this to hold the thing in. Instead of fabricing it, I have the opportunity to go ahead and do the same where I can print up on the Glowforge some sort of scrolling pattern type thing. This is too small. I kind of want a bigger knob, you know, and also going bigger will allow me to have some better details. So I'm okay with having like this big handle you have to kind of turn. I just have to make sure that I have clearance for something that large. Looked like I could go up to 3.5 inches safely. Okay, so to business. Let's go take a quick look at what I did with the patching parts. I did nothing to the inside of this, but this could use one more round of filler, I think, and then I can go ahead and sand it smooth, smack on my holy fabric and call it a day. I have this little bit of imperfection here. I'll try my best to sand off some of it because it's not actually doing anything, but if it doesn't, it is what it is. I'm gonna have to let these kinds of things go. It's better than having an issue of it not being, you know, out far enough. And here's the back neck. I kind of did the same. Since this is not a structural thing, I didn't actually end up using fiberglass. I just plugged it in with a bunch of paste because I was struggling to get behind it. I didn't want you to see fiberglass on the top. When I wash this down, I think it'll be okay. So when the holy fabric's on, it'll be fine. So that is that. The water, once it hits that back corner, it will go out that way, which is what I had initially intended. Okay, I am gonna get to work on that door. using the Glowforge to print up the design that I landed on for the handle. This is the etching and scoring. It's going to cut that out in a circle, and it's going to cut a second layer, like a small rim, that will fit around the piece so I can pour it and fill it with resin, which I will do in a second step, and I'll show you how that goes. My print has made it out of the Glowforge, and it has that layer of paper masking tape that I need to peel off. This can take some time depending on how intricate your design is. Alright, so pulled the tape off of all of the pieces except for the back side, the bottom. It just helps as an extra layer of protection as I'm pouring this resin. Give myself a reference line for matching up. I'm just using a bit of super glue to hold the frame in place. Just a couple small dots. Find my reference line. Next thing I'm going to do is tape up my edges just in case there's any gaps or leaks in between where the two pieces meet. I don't end up with resin spilling out on me. Now I'm going to mix up some resin. I have been trying to use up the rest of this crystal clear hardener. I have to have a really light hand with the mica because if I don't, it'll be too strong and it'll cover over the entire design. I have this big chunk that I am going to be cutting up and prepping for the handles, for the back of the handles. I'm going to be affixing this here, and then I think I'm going to head over to the lathe and turn these on the lathe. Alright y'all, this is it. She is loaded in. I'm going to take the best walk around tour I can possibly get in this tight space. My apologies, I have yet to get to the DMV to order the plate, and the truck still needs to have the hitch put on, so I cannot move her just yet. But it is time to do the closing out because she's finished. And I'm hoping in the near future, for the next month or so, I should have all of the other parts of that worked out. And I'm not going to do another video on the dragon, not for YouTube. I will probably have some social media posts of when I do haul this thing out to the public and have a bit of a showing, I guess, is what I'll call it. She'll be seen, and I'm going to have like a guerrilla style pop-up show. And I will definitely post some stuff from that and take some great footage so I have it for my own records, hopefully surrounded by trees. I think I've picked a spot for her, so yeah. But that is not going to happen for the YouTube channel. So if you're interested in seeing what any of that looks like, make sure you're subscribed to my Instagram because it definitely will be there. Maybe it'll be on TikTok. I'm not sure yet. All right, let's go walk inside and see. Let's go take a look. And here are the stairs. We are coming on in. There's my Bubba man. Here we go. Into the land of wonderment we go. And here she is. All stocked up. We're going to do a quick pan around. Actually, no. We're going to do a good detailed pan around. There we go. The mattresses are just kind of tucked into the back, and I have this quilt laid out just so it can be seen. I think this is probably going to be the orientation that I put everything in, the way things are going to be shown when I do haul this out into public space. I kind of pick and choose a little bit of each things. Not everything is out. Some of the things that are backup things are in the bins. Like, you know, there's only parts of the bingo set, only parts of certain things. Yeah. And then the chaise lounger. Let's get a good look at that door. I didn't pull it closed all the way, but look at that. Look at that. And I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna try. This camera zoom just does not get all of the window, but I can do it with my cell phone, so I will definitely do that. So, Tour of the Dragon. Tour of the Dragon. Y'all, I told myself I was not gonna do it. That I was not gonna do the food. That I was done. I was burnt. But, yeah, I couldn't help myself. And it is the 1st of autumn. And how could I not make a pumpkin with soup in it? And I just needed to, right? So, yeah, made some scones, made some apple tarts. Yeah, it's been a fun day in the kitchen. And to go with the soup, these are some Impossible Meat pies and some leftover dough I turned into pesto breadsticks to match the soup. Happy 1st of autumn, y'all. Happy 1st of autumn. Alright, y'all, it is time to do this. It is time for the final wrap-up. For this wrap-up, I went onto Instagram and asked y'all to give me some questions. Let me just say, it has been one heck of a crazy ride. This has just been one of the craziest builds I have ever encountered. There were so many things that happened throughout this build that I did not anticipate and that were completely out of my control. You know, we had the 1 year of the world's craziest rain where it rained for 9 months while I was trying to deal with the building of the exterior of this. Of course, last year when I was dealing with the interior spaces, it didn't rain that much. There was the massive amounts of injuries that happened just one after another within like months of each other that happened to my body. It was been a crazy process, but I am so relieved that she's finished. I am happy to be sitting in her. I'm like it's overjoyed with the outcome of this. There were a lot of things that did get axed. This past summer was another crazy summer that I was not anticipating, and at a certain point I just had to say, okay, I'm gonna call it. And it was the right thing to do. I'm not disappointed about it. I had an amazing summer spending time with my babies and really forcing myself to slow down. Right, let's get to it. First up, Joe says, OMG, wait, what's inside? I see a door. Instagram followers are, I would say, about 80% not the same following as YouTubers, and so y'all know that this was always going to have an interior and have watched it unfold, but my Instagram peeps haven't got full context. They've only had snippets of teasers and pictures. If you're looking at the images, you couldn't tell that I was also building an interior. My love has always been for interior design and architecture. I always wanted to create full-on interior interiors completely from the ground up, made by hand. The whole point of building an exterior in the first place was for there to be an interior. And it got a little carried away with what this exterior became because it's a sculpture in its own right. That might have got a little lost in the messaging over what this channel is about. And this channel has mainly been all about building interior environments that were from the ground up. So yes, there is an interior, a magical, wonderful, wondrous inside of the dragon. From Joey, what is your favorite part of the build that you can't wait to show off to people? I couldn't help but gravitate towards just sitting in front of this window. I'm super pleased with the way this turned out. It's definitely the wow factor that you're not expecting, and it's so hard to capture when it's on camera like this. So I cannot wait for people to see this in person and be able to sit here and see that view too. Okay, next up, Carlos, who asked, how much did you end up spending on this project? I made a cheat sheet for this. I was logging early on. All of the trials and tribulations that happened, it kind of went out the window as far as logging goes, but I did sort of get an estimate. My highest expense was the epoxy, and I spent about $3,000 on just the epoxy alone. The trailer that this is on with tax, $650. I did also purchase new tires, 13-inch tires. Those tires were $350. I think I spent about at least $1,000 at Joann's. My main shopping places were Home Depot, Amazon, and Joann's. About $600 at Home Depot. And then I would say probably about $1,000 worth of miscellaneous other objects. Grand total at the low end, $6,600. Between that and $7,500, give or take. This is just for the materials cost, of course. This is not counting any tools I might have had to buy for the thing. So, yeah, that means that Homegirl's got to be priced somewhere around at least $13K because I need to make my money back, right? Teresa has asked, when did Evangeline first become a spark in that magnificent creative brain of yours? I'm reading here, y'all. I don't take compliments well. But anyway, I knew I was going to be building a dragon in 2021 when I was working on the Witch's Feast. I had the lineup. I knew Witch's Feast, vision board, and then I knew Woodland Feast was coming, and immediately following Woodland Feast, I knew the dragon was coming. I know what my next 3 environments are going to be, tentatively. Yeah, things get planned out early on here. I also just wanted to give a shout out to Teresa and thank her for Evangeline's wonderful gift. This is a handmade ceramic trinket dish with a dragon on it that was a gift for Miss Evangeline. Last question, and this is coming from Sana Soul and Body Therapy. This is actually my massage therapist who is amazing. She knows her stuff. If you are in the LA area and you're looking for a massage therapist, check her out on Instagram. She asked, what did you discover about yourself in this project? Well, let me tell ya, from the start, this was about duality. There's this beast outside, right? It's this ferocious dragon who is asleep, and don't wake the beast. And inside was sanctuary, this space of calm, the safe space. And that was the original concept. If this project taught me anything, it was that I need to spend more time balancing my physical capabilities versus the things that my mind wants to create, and that I'm not that young anymore. Doing large structures like this, they're amazing and I love them, but it's a lot of physical exertion, and to modify my timeline of my projects and not be so demanding of myself to have these crazy deadlines, I need to learn to be more gracious with myself. That's what I discovered. I discovered grace is a good commodity, a good thing to have, and it's okay. It's okay to accept things for what they are and accept where I am. I don't know if I would have done that before. I would have been really hard on myself and really beat myself up over not being able to accomplish the things that I wanted to. Instead, today I'm sitting here in wonder of what I've done, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the things that had to fall by the wayside. It was necessary. Which brings me to the future of this channel. I have loved building an exterior space and having this giant build. If I had a giant warehouse and a controlled environment, I could build more giant structures at a better pace without all of other elements I can't control. Those other elements that I can't control, and being in very small footprint of a yard and space, they cause too much stress for me. Clearly it's possible. I've done it, I can do it, but the amount of stress that came along with trying to work under those conditions was just not healthy for me. Going forward, I am going to put more of a focus back onto interior environments. I made the mistake when I designed this where I said I'm going to design this cool exterior space and then I'm going to sit inside and figure out what the interior is going to be after I build the exterior. I can't think that way. That was way too chaotic. It was way too stressful for me. Going forward, the environments are going to be at the forefront again. I'm going to get back to my project videos. I feel more comfortable in that space for now. However, I am exhausted. It has been, this past 2 years has been one hell of a decade, let me tell you, okay? So I need to take a major step back and I need some time. I need to regroup. I need to regather myself. I need some time to rest. Things are filmed a couple months in advance before you see them. I need also a lead time of starting the next project. Sometime in early February is when you're going to be seeing full videos again. You are not going to be left empty-handed. I have been working on a lot of little projects, little crafty things. My squirrel feeding station has had a lot of action where I have been monthly changing things out that I have coming at you as shorts. I also have a series of miniatures that I have been working on coming your way. There will be video, but more than likely it is going to be a few months of me releasing shorts until we get back to full-length videos, which will be happening in the new year for you. So I just want to say thank you all for this amazing ride. It has been one heck of a journey. Thank you for joining me over the past 2 years if you have been following along. I really appreciate your support, comments, and all of those bits of encouragement as I was hitting those walls in some of those places. I am going to sign off. Thank you for hanging out with me. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stay tuned for more environments to come. And remember, don't wake the dragon.